Hello, everybody. It's nice to be with you virtually today. I wish I was there in person. The idea came to our community at a time when it was really useful to us because we're a young arts council. We'd only been around for a couple of years. We were involved in a pretty big community initiative to see if we could get a regional sales tax passed. That effort ultimately did not go through, but when I met Sorrel and became aware of this idea and this approach, it seemed to me that it made a lot of sense to really get a snapshot of what the arts market in the Kansas City metropolitan area was like. And we realized we really didn't know who were the people in the area that were currently taking part in arts and culture. I mean, we had some kind of vague notion, but it was really based, I think, on anecdote and a lot of speculation and a lot of assumption. And when I saw Sorrel give a presentation at Americans for the Arts and looked at some of her mapping techniques and the whole approach of geodemography that she uses, I thought this is something that would really be extraordinarily helpful to us, to be able to go to audiences throughout the metropolitan area and say, here's how many people in your community are currently going to the arts. Here's how many people in your community aren't going to the arts. Here's, you have a lot of people that are really interested in the arts. In other communities, we were able to go to them and say, you have a lot of people who seem to be interested in the arts, but they're not currently going to, any of the 53 organizations whose audiences we captured, during our first collaborative study. And I think in retrospect, it really turned out to be everything I was hoping it would be. It really gave everybody in the arts community kind of a baseline to understand what the current reality was and to recognize where markets were saturated, where markets had potential, what were the sort of untapped opportunities that they could focus their attention on.
Nice job. I should take you on the road with me more often.
I think the biggest revelation for us from that first market study was the actual market penetration that we had collectively in the arts and cultural sector. You usually hear that maybe 5 or 6% of the population is actively interested in arts and culture. We looked at these 53 organizations, collected all their information, crunched all of it into one big database, and looked at how many people we were really reaching. And it really, I think, astonished all of us to understand that collectively there was some kind of an affiliation with something like 25% of the households in the metropolitan area. And I think that's a far larger number than anybody suspected. There wasn't nearly as much crossover as we thought there was. Before we did this study, you talked to the arts marketers about what was happening with the audiences here. A lot of them came at their marketing challenges from the perception that there were only these 5 or 6 core percent of the population that were coming to all arts activities, and that that literally they were coming to just dozens of them, and you'd see the same people over and over and over again. And there's a certain amount of that is true, that there is this core audience, so you do tend to bump into them. But then you think about how many people, when you go to a performance, that you don't know, and you recognize that you've gone to maybe you've gone to 2 or 3 performances in a month, and in each case you've seen some people and that kind of reinforces this perception of, oh, well, I know all these people that are going to arts events. But in fact, there's all these people there that you don't know. When you go to that second performance, it's likely to be a whole different set of people that you don't know. And you go to the third performance, and again, it's another different set of people that you don't know.